Hello again. So today for the discussion of Chapter 5 from Croteau and Hoynes and the article, the first discussion question is, what are ideological underpinnings of the upsurge of zombies in mass media according to the author? And I said that zombies are becoming increasingly popular in mass media because they provide an isolated group to consider an enemy, despite still being human and having similar attributes as humans. This relates back to the point that the author makes that Western societies view misplaced people in a similar manner. They may still be a part of society, but will ultimately not be accepted. Zombies are seen as the enemy because they are threatening the state of sovereignty, and many people view illegal immigrants in the same way because they are stealing American jobs and using up American resources. It seems that bringing outsiders in are causing more anxiety than the real issues that are at stake. The second one is, how do scholars use specific mass media genres to study ideology from a particular historical period, and how does Stratton conduct his study? Scholars examine genres of media to gauge the ideologies using specific events that occur in the media and in real life. And for example, some movies will add a bit of terror by using the events of 9/11 to heighten xenophobia. During this time, the ideology was that there was a foreign threat to our safety. Time periods play a large role in dictating ideology because it gives insight to what society was feeling at that time. Stratton used this idea to study the anxieties and responses of people when a major life event happens. Putting these events and findings into film using zombies is an easy way to embody the feelings of a situation. And one thing that I thought of that the media often hypes up is what could happen in a scenario rather than what is actually happening. For example, going back to the increase in illegal immigrants, the media would focus on the possibility of less jobs rather than focusing on the statistics that brought them to that conclusion, which are often not threatening in the big grand scheme of things. And finally, for the last question, what historically specific anxieties does Stratton say zombies represent? And how does this remind you of some of the themes discussed by Croteau and Hoynes in Chapter 5? Again, Stratton makes the point that using zombies to represent a deeper meaning within our society is pretty accurate. I found that zombies perfectly represent the misplaced people and highlight the racial aspects of society. Since most immigrants are of a minority group, this is prevalent, especially in the example undead, because the Australians are panicked about asylum seekers infiltrating the country. I believe this is connected to the point made in Chapter 5 when Croteau and Hoynes talked about hegemony and the types of power struggle, and how Western civilizations have an idea of what is natural, and while people do not always outwardly express their xenophobia, I think it's something that a lot of people fear because it is a media-fabricated threat to an already established society. And then one last point that was brought up by Croteau and Hoynes in Chapter 5 that I was able to relate back to the article was when they talked about the different casts from the shows that they picked from different years, where we saw in early years of TV it was all white casts and then slowly transitioned into a more diverse cast like how we see on Modern Family today. And I was able to relate that to the article by when it talked about how we kind of switched our villains in a sense. So we went from zombies to vampires and then all different sorts of mythological creatures. Thanks for watching. See you in the next assignment.